You know what I'm saying? The White Nile coming from up out of Uganda, Lake Victoria. You see the Blue Nile coming down from Ethiopia, meeting up at Khartoum, and you see it, from the Khartoum, it flows down into Egypt, into the Mediterranean. And this is how the knowledge went into what you call Greece and Rome, because after it got to the mouth of the Nile, it began to go into the islands of the Mediterranean. That's why the island, the Minoans on the island of Minos, you see what I'm saying, was the earliest of the Grecian civilizations because it was in sequence. It was, in sequence with the flow of the Nile River. This is why the islands in the Mediterranean Sea were educated before the mainland Europeans. I got to talk to y'all today. You're getting orientation. You're getting Genesis. You're getting genes of Isis today. See what I'm saying? If you don't know where the hell you came from and you don't know how this shit came to be, nigga, you confused. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Nigga, you are confused. These are the facts. This is not up for dispute. You can take your time and dispute it, and we'll be moving forward. Because we can prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. Look at the power of the Nile Basin. Now you really see all those arteries of the Nile, all those tributaries of the Nile. This is a mighty river. There is no river in comparison to this river. That's just real. Look at the capacity of the Nile Valley. This is why Egypt, Nubia, Oxum, even Zimbabwe, even down, also fed up off of the Great Lakes region. Also fed all those civilizations on the east coast of Africa, fed up off of the Great Lakes region. So if you see that lake is a freshwater lake, you got 4,000 miles of river. Look at all the tributaries, all the life. This ain't even the rainforest. This just showing you the power of the Nile Valley Basin. This is why this civilization was able to achieve some of the greatest achievements ever on the planet, because they have more resources. They had greater resources than any other people anywhere else. Okay, let me go past this. This is looking at the volcanoes down in Central East Africa, around the Great Lakes, around what you call the Rift Valley, where the Arabian plate tore away from the African plate. And when it tore away, it caused a lot of pulling on the continent, and a lot of it sunk down. And so the parts that sunk down, they call it the Great Rift Valley. When you're talking about the Nile Valley, because that's the lowlands of Africa. That's the pulling away of the Arabian plate from the African plate, and water seeped in from out of them mountains. Okay? So when you're thinking about the pyramids, this is the reflection of those volcanoes that's in the Central East Africa. Okay, it's a reminder of the God lands, the God and goddess lands, from which all the gods and goddesses came. They came down the river, and that's why they had arcs in all of the temples, where all the deities had arcs, and they had rituals where they went back up the river. So again, the pyramid is geological references of our origin. You see, the pyramid is a geological reference of our origin, of where we came from out of Central East Africa. And so now we're looking at, even in Nubia, the gold deposits. You don't understand that many of the artisans that carved these masks were Nubians. Okay, the only thing that made you a Nubian is that you live in Nubia, Sudan, but Egyptians look like Nubians and Nubians look like Egyptians. That's like if you went to Africa right now, if you really wasn't from Africa and you just went into West Africa, you wouldn't be able to tell one from the other, one nation from the other. Somebody would have to say you in Nigeria, or you in Mali, or you in Ghana. Somebody let you know. But if you just saw the dark-skinned people, you wouldn't know. So what makes one Nubian? The fact that you live in Nubia. But that same Nubian, if he lived in Egypt, would be an Egyptian. You see what I'm saying? They look just alike. So many of the artisans, many of the masons, you see what I'm saying, were Nubians that carved the great sarcophaguses of Tutankhamun. So when you're looking at the resources on the Nile, you see the gold, you see the granite, you see the limestone, you see the alabaster, you see the jasper, the copper, the basalt. See, we showing you the resources. This is why our kings and queens were so great. This is at the top of the water. And we didn't even talk about all of the fish that's in that fresh water. So when we're talking about the granite to build the pyramids, the gold so that we could have all these jewelries in these tombs and live for eternity through our, our artifacts and through our, the things that we left as far as the sarcophaguses and all of the jewelry and so on and so forth. This is to our grandeur, but it came from the fact that we had resources and that we was rulers of the land. And so you could talk about Egypt and you being an Egyptian and you being, but until you are able to get the resources of our ancestors back firmly with up under your rulership, then we just talking. We ain't moving back like we supposed to. When we get our ancestors' artifacts up out of the white man, museums, and rededicate them to our freedom and liberation back in Africa where they belong, we'll never be a whole people. We'll just be niggas spitting facts and spewing facts, but we ain't making no move to make a global African supremacy a reality. And this is where the BPC stand out. This is where we stand out. We don't talk, we show you what an economy is, nigga. Ain't no point in time where I don't deal with resources. And so resources is imports and exports. Goddamn it, when you got resources, you got jobs, because you need artists, you need masons to go in there, you need miners and of all type of resources to go down there and mine the rock, mine the granite, mine the gold, mine the amethyst, mine them. So we need miners. You see what I'm saying? And all of that. And then you need people to, to shape the stones, you see, and make them into jewelry. We need some people to cut the granite out, and then we got certain masons that cut it to its exactness. You see what I'm saying? We got some of our brothers that mine the gold and some of our sisters that make the jewelry. You see what I'm saying? And we got all the precious minerals that anybody could ever want. So when you go down in the tombs of our kings and our queens, it's always a shock every goddamn time you go down into any one of them tombs. So when you look at the resources of Africa today, you're talking about being the great Tutankhamun. You're talking about being the great empress, Almost Nefertari, the great empress, African empress Hatshepsut, the great African empress T. You want to be the great King Seti, Black King Seti, then goddamn it, then you got to understand imports and exports. You got to understand mining these resources and polishing these resources and refining these resources. Every step is jobs. Every step is economy. And when you become a ruler of a land, automatically you need workers. So once you got land, you automatically got economy. Okay? So we see what we have in Africa. On top of all these great and mighty rivers, we see that we have gold. These is number one exports. You understand? Out of each nation. This is the number one exports out of each nation. See, in Africa, gold, coffee, grains, tea, diamonds, petroleum, timber, copper, aluminum, coffee, tobacco. You see what I'm saying? Platinum, cocoa beans, rubber, aluminum, fish, peanut products, iron ore, petroleum and natural gas, clothing and textile, phosphates, iron ore. See, now we on our garbage shit. See, that's what you get with the general. We on our garbage shit. You see what I'm saying? If a nigga ain't talking about resources, because the only thing you dealing with on the world market, nigga, is exports and imports. And the only thing is you gonna export is some motherfucking resources. Now, where is your resources? First, where is your land? If you don't have no land, then you can't be in control of resources. So any money you making, nigga, you making as a wage worker. You're not making the wealth as a ruler of a nation in control of resources. He dictates the economy. If you're not in control of any land, you are not in control of any resources, which means all your motherfucking money, nigga, is basically slave wages. God damn it. That's what I said. Slave motherfucking wage. How we doing out there,